If it wasn't for Google, I bet that they won't know my nickname.
Rise and grind, folks. Guys, I am on the way to an existing maintenance customer. This is a heat maintenance. For you long-time subscribers, this is the call from like at least 3 or 4 years ago. This customer had a mice inside her inside her condenser that chewed the wires and opened the fuse. You guys remember that back in the good old days? Guys, she has, I believe, an 80% Evcon furnace and a coil and condenser, straight AC Evcon. Guys, I am almost here now. Let's go take a look and let's rock out. I'll see y'all when I get inside. All right, guys. This is an Evcon 80% furnace, coil and condenser. Right now, I got the limit switch open. I want to cool this furnace down a little bit. But guys, let me get my meter, and I'm going to test this igniter and the flame sensor. I'll be back. All right, guys. Flame sensor can use some cleaning. And this furnace seems to be definitely under 10 years old. We didn't install this. I know we've been coming out here for at least the past 4 years, but I want to say this thing is at least 7 or 8 years old, give or take. Similar to the AC. They're both about the same age. Hold on, guys. My igniter's at a 41. Now, one thing I didn't mention is over the course of last winter, this customer did have an intermittent issue in which she said that everything was running and the system stopped working overnight, and a couple hours later it turned on. And we got out here, everything was working fine, flame sensor was clean. We made a note last year to inspect this pressure switch. If anything looks abnormal, we recommend replacing the pressure switch. So one thing I want to do is I'm definitely going to get my manometer. But first I'm going to inspect the port, make sure the port is clean. But that's one thing I'm definitely going to look at. Make sure my inducer is pulling a good draft, and I'm going to look more into this pressure switch. But guys, let me clean the burners off and clean this flame sensor. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I checked my inducer port. Everything is clear, but what I want to do is I'm just going to go ahead and recommend replacing this switch. One thing I'm going to mention to the customer, which is something I also mentioned to you guys, pressure switches similar to igniters, sensors, relays, thermostats, these are not considered long-term items. These are considered maintenance items. What are maintenance items? Maintenance items typically don't have a shelf life past 5 years without showing wear and tear, and if wear and tear persists before breakdowns occur, you would typically recommend replacing that part. Now, do a customer have to get this done? No, but if this continues to stick and they have more intermittent problems, I don't know a customer that wants to deal with that, knowing that this could happen down the line. So once again, guys, remember the purpose of the maintenance is to bring us to their attention before it happens, so the customer is aware of what could happen before it breaks down. You want to prevent breakdowns. That's the game plan with maintenances. It's not about the customer paying money. It's about them knowing what could happen before it happens. Capiche? Alright guys, let me make sure I got another one in the truck. I'll be right back. Alright guys, we got our new switch in. And one thing I didn't mention earlier is I did test my inducer for inches of water column, and we're above a 2.0 inches of water column, which is great. And one thing I'll mention one more time with these universal air switches, you guys hear me say this a lot, there's nothing wrong with going OEM with your pressure switch if you're in that scenario to get an OEM switch. Now, if you're in a scenario, now right now we're on a heat maintenance. Now, if you're on a no heat call in a pinch, if I didn't have another OEM pressure switch, a universal pressure switch can work. Granted, make sure the universal pressure switch is within range of what you're taking out. Never, I repeat, never put in a bigger or smaller pressure switch than what you had. Otherwise, this can be very dangerous, and also this can make the heat not work. So you don't want to put in a switch that's going to close before this inducer takes the draft out of the heat exchanger. Otherwise, you could have backdraft, and that's going to spell a nightmare. So worst case scenario, guys, if you don't have a universal air switch that can handle the inches of water column on the OEM pressure switch, just get an OEM pressure switch. Don't take the chance. All right. Alright guys, let me put all this back together and fire this up. I'll be right back. Alright guys, there you have it. Heat maintenance, Evcon unit. And also the filter is brand new. We put that in a few months ago, it's still good. And they got our Honeywell wireless thermostat here. Everything's rocking and rolling. I gotta do the paper for roll. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.